Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today I'm sorry for the super Chad level title of why I'm unstoppable and how you can be too. But I promise I will do my best to dispel the idea that I am some egotistical, self-centered narcissist. We'll see though. So this idea came to me when a friend of mine was talking about how I seem to have this great vision for my future and where I want to go. And I was kind of laughing because I was like, man, I don't feel like I have a great vision, and I feel like my life is just crazy and not under control. And but it was nice to know that from the outside, from a friend's perspective, that I seem to have my life in order. I promise you that's not the case, but it's nice to know that some people think I'm doing okay. Um, but I think the biggest thing in becoming unstoppable, in realizing your full potential and going for what you want is first knowing what you want, having a set of goals or a specific vision for the future. So maybe that's being financially independent. Maybe that's having a specific education, degree, bachelor's, master's, PhD. Maybe it's a specific level of study. Or a qualification like being a certified plumber or electrician. There can be many facets to this. I think a lot of us see ourselves or envision ourselves having a sustainable and beautiful and productive relationship that makes us better, that makes us feel that we're in love and loved by somebody. The creation of a family in whatever way that might be. Maybe it's with a dog, maybe it's with 5 kids, maybe it's with your immediate family and grandparents, whatever it might be. I think the first step in figuring out and being that driven person is having some idea of your goals. And YouTube is full of people talking about setting goals, and you have to write them down and you have to say them on camera, or you have to do something to make them physically real and there for you. You frame them and put them on your wall, whatever. I don't really think that you have to do that. I think it works for some people, and I think some people have to see that wall of goals every single day. For me, I have these goals like financial independence, living a happy life. Spiritually, I want to be fulfilled and I want to feel like I'm taking care of my mental health. I would like a family in some form. I'm not sure about the exact form right now, but I would like a family in some form. A relationship would be great. Those are the kind of things that I see and envision myself having one day, or hopefully soon. Not 400 years in the future, please. Thank you. But like I said, I think the individuals that we see in our lives who seem unstoppable, who seem like, man, that's so driven, like they're not going to go out to the club, they're working, they're studying late. It's the people that seem to have a really solid, concrete vision of what they want, and they work every single week towards it. And I said every single week because I think a lot of these individuals do everything daily. They're doing something every single day to do it. But I don't think that's necessarily required. I think as long as you're working towards your goal at least a few times a week, you're going to get there. There's this idea that you have to really suffer in life in order to get where you want to go. And, you have to waste 20 years of your life just working and slogging away. And I really think it isn't the case. I think a lot of people over exaggerate how much hard work it took them to get to a certain level or a certain degree of what they wanted. Whereas I find that even on my busiest days, I still have 1 to 2 hours of just not doing a whole lot that, I try and occupy with maybe some meditation, maybe looking into something new, reading a new book, working on language, whatever it might be. But I always think if I'm someone who seems to be quite busy most of the time, but if even I have 1 to 2 hours a day where I'm just sort of okay, what am I gonna fill this time with? I wonder how many things and how much time other people have where, maybe they are able to unwind. Maybe they don't have to be working like crazy hard. And so I think setting your goals in like a weekly way is a lot more healthy and a lot less neurotic than trying to do it every single day and occupy every single waking free moment you have with attaining your goals. Yes, it's important. Yes, self-sacrifice, personal responsibility is all about sacrificing the now for long-term gratification, because that short-term gratification really doesn't get you anywhere. But that being said, you got to live your life. You got to enjoy it. You have to, feel as though you've had a good life the whole way through. There is no point in slaving away in order to get to some fantasy when that fantasy might not even become reality. My brother said this once to me. He said, Jack, at some point you're going to go. Like you'll not be here anymore. And if you spent your entire life eating so particularly and carefully, trying to avoid all of the carcinogens and, doing all of that, is it really worth it at the end of the line if you spend, if you get to live from 80 to 100 rather than just going at 80 and enjoying your life? And it hit me because, he's not 100% right, but he's not 100% wrong either. Personal enjoyment of your life can't be understated. It can't be just thrown out like baby in the bathwater. Like you have to have a level of enjoyment in your life. And I think letting loose or letting yourself enjoy now and then makes you that much more unstoppable. I think the people that absolutely grind away, there are some situations, like if you're going through med school or if you're going through, a particularly rigorous time at work or whatever, there are times where just head to the grindstone, working so hard, that can definitely pay off. But in my experience, too much of it is unsustainable. It leads to burnout. It leads to running away, living in a cabin in the woods and never returning to society. And I don't think it's particularly healthy. So that's why I advocate for focusing on your goals in a week-long timeline and not just like a day timeline or something like that. You know what I mean? And I think that's the true path to unstoppability. It's that gradual, persistent climb, no matter what, while still like stopping to smell the roses and enjoy what you're doing. So that's my idea. And the last piece of advice is basically what I said at the beginning, where somebody in my life who knows my life pretty well thought that I had a great handle on it, that I was handling everything. He's like, man, you really seem like you have your life together. From my perspective, like the person living my life, I don't know what I'm doing at all. Like I feel like I'm reaching for these goals, but I'm still, 400 steps behind where I'd like to be. But everyone is always going to assume that you have stuff way more organized than you do, which is great for you because there is an element of fake it till you make it, and that is just fine. So if other people in my life think that it's going good, I'll take that as constructive criticism. I'm not going to let it go to my head and make myself egotistical and think like, oh, I'm doing so well. No, but it's nice to know that people can sort of see that there is a vision towards what I'm doing. There is a goal, there is a path. And even if I'm a long way away from reaching what I want to reach, it's nice to know that there are people who think like, wow, that's really impressive. And I'm sure that there are people in your life that think the same thing and think that you have it all figured out when we're all just faking it and trying to make it. So thank you for watching this video. I hope that you are able to become the super unstoppable, beautiful Chad level ego that we all desire. Hopefully a little more self-aware than a typical Chad. Also, sorry if your name's Chad. You really got like shafted there with, the idea of a Chad on the internet. It's like Karen's now. No fun. So if your name is Chad, I love you and I hope you're doing well. And if your name's not Chad, I love you and I hope you're doing well. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know what you thought. And as always, I hope you're having a beautiful day, week, month, year, whatever you're having. I hope it's amazing. And as always, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.